Hello, this is our presentation on the film that we intend to do.
So our extract will be called Vicious.
Okay, so initial ideas. We had two completely different ideas. One being the horror slasher typical opening, including, but we wanted to mix up with a school setting, and it was to star a student who was being traumatized and paranoid because he was responsible for his friend's death, and the ominous character that was actually responsible was the person chasing the character. But we decided to go with a more intense drug-filled opening. We wanted to create an idea of a student who once had a promising future, who had A grades, did very well at school, even had the premise of becoming a professional athlete, but all of that was taken away due to becoming mixed up with the wrong people. And we wanted to juxtapose the positive life that he could have carried out with the life that he got mixed up in. We intended to do that with a close-up of drugs, showing the intensity of his situation that changed from his positive future. And we wanted the idea of the male character being reined in by a dangerous and additional characters that were much older than him, so we wanted a more gritty and more adult-like theme to our opening.
So for our basic plotline, we decided to have two main characters, one being the kid who goes down the wrong path, and the other being a character who drags this kid into the wrong path. So we will be starting off with a close-up of a drug scene where you would just see the cocaine vanishing, so it will be a line of cocaine. To do this, we're also going to be playing with music, and we're going to have some sort of a horror type of music where the soundtrack would kind of glitch, at what point the video will almost reverse and go back to playing forward. We're going to be having establishing shots to see what will be happening around and where the place is set. So essentially this story is about a young teenager experiencing a whirlpool of drugs and personal conflicts between abiding by the law and becoming successful, or no longer complying and living in the predictable life. For our first shot, we had two inspirations. As after some research on what cocaine does to the brain, we've realised that it makes you more alert. So we had two inspirational videos that we got them from. This video reflects the alertness that it gives. Our second video is to show what the rewind would look like with the cocaine scene.
Okay, so we looked at different films for inspiration, and we found out that there are different reasons why people take up drugs. Some could be to protect your friends and your family, and some could be for money, which our protagonist does. We also found out that people are forced into taking drugs, which our character actually, by Mr. X, I should say, forces him to take the drugs, which kind of has an effect on his life and like his own, his body and everything, physical. And we've also found out that there are like different like an environment, duty environment that can like cause you to take up drugs because you might be living with some like mother or father who just like smokes and drinks and weed and stuff like that. So that can also have an effect on you. So
Yeah, one of the locations that we thought about was using an abandoned warehouse to kind of connotate the idea of the character being lonely in a world where essentially his adolescence has been taken away from him and he's being forced into a more adult life. Or kind of bring like a more isolated version of it where it's a lot more gritty, a lot more intense, where he's physically surrounded by all the narcotics and props. That's where mise en scène comes into play, where we use the props to signify the more drugs, the more alcohol, substance abuse, narcotics he takes, the more he's losing his future aspirations and the more he's divulged into a world of negativity and drugs.
Thanks, girls. Thank you. Have we got, sorry, we'll give them a big clap at the end. Have we got questions that we want to ask?
So you vaguely mentioned someone called Mr. M or something.
Mr.
X.
X.
Yeah.
That's the guy that drags him into the drugs.
Oh, right, yeah, I just didn't understand how he fits into the story. I was trying to say that. It sounds interesting.
Oh, so basically, the character, he gets, through his friends, he meets this Mr. X, who's a much older man, and is basically the symbolism for the more darker essence, rather than, kind of like child's play, people like taking drugs on the street. He's like a symbol for the hardcore drugs, and somehow through his friends, it's like a vicious circle almost. He goes round through, and it progresses, and he ends up with this man who essentially brings him to his demise and his doom.
Well, can you talk about like the variety of shots that you'll be using? So like close-up, extreme
Yeah,
close-ups.
so for our first shot, it's going to be an extreme close-up of the cocaine, as we mentioned before. Our next shot was going to be a pan of showing the relief of the actual character. In between those characters, we're going to have close-ups of character X's feet only walking towards our main protagonist. We're going to have establishing shots to show his height and how he's going to be affected. We're also thinking to do effects as such. Also, we might have close-ups to his eyeballs to like play with the pupils and see how that works out as well.
How are you going to show girls that this character has lost their good life?
We're going to have a flashback when when character X comes in to the scene, or next to the actual protagonist, we're going to have a little flashback scene. It's going to be done by transitions, and we're going to show what he was and what he is now.
Yeah, to add, it's not necessarily going to be in chronological order. It's going to start off with him being lost in this world, but then we're going to have flashbacks of him and like him pursuing his future, like being sporty and all the things he could have had.
Props wise, how are you going to recreate the drugs and such, and how are you going to make sure you do bring them safely and such?
We're not going to have any access to actual drugs, so in this case we're going to be using white powder, so either baking soda or just flour. And to do sort of the intake of the drug getting lost, we're going to use some sort of a vacuum system to get rid of the powder. Wonderful physics.
Okay. Any more questions, guys? Do you know where your plot line will go? Because obviously you're making the film opening, so have you got, like, where are you going to leave it? Like, what's the end of your opening going to be? What would happen in the rest of the film then?
The end, so there's going to be a chase scene, which is why we're going for a crime and thriller.
In your opening?
Yeah.
It's only slightly shown in our opening, but it's basically, he's also going to have like more homely connections that bring him back and then make him think about all the things he could have had. So in between, we're going to show essence of him having a personal conflict whether he should actually retain his future or basically be stuck in the world he is now.
So he tries to escaping, and that's where you're going to leave it.
Do you have any actors?
Yeah, for our protagonist, we have a friend named Samson. He's the same age category as us, so we thought it would be like good to place him so we can like fit in with him and relate to him. He can act pretty well, and he's got some sort of skills with running and parkouring, so maybe we could use that in him as well.